After Omar Khan spoke to the media yesterday, we got a clearer picture on exactly where the Pittsburgh Steelers are going with this quarterback situation and exactly who they want to be there at the end of free agency. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's talk about that and what Omar Khan had to say yesterday to the media. Omar Khan spoke, and he spoke very highly of the quarterback that they have on the roster already, but what else would you expect as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and what would you expect from the general manager? What would you expect from anybody out of that building other than saying good things about the only quarterback that remains on the roster for the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into the 2024 free agency period? Yes, Kenny Pickett is the lone man standing here, guys. And with that being said, he is going to get ringing endorsements from his guys, from that building, especially from Omar, especially from Mike, and possibly even Art Rooney. But when Omar was approached about the question of Mason Rudolph, he gave a very, very, very stern statement, in my opinion, saying they absolutely loved what Mason was able to do in those final 4 games of the season. They love the way he has grown. They're excited about trying to get him back. And Omar Khan has said now officially that he has had talks with Mason Rudolph's representation. That means that they are actively pursuing Mason Rudolph, which should be a good sign for Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Yes, Kenny Pickett is in there. Some people want to see Kenny Pickett play. Some people want to continue to see the Steelers allow Kenny Pickett to possibly develop further as a franchise quarterback. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, in my opinion, are doing the right thing here and trying to absolutely ensure there is a contingency plan in place. And that is going to be Mason Rudolph. At least that's what the Steelers would like it to be. Do I think the Steelers are going to go out and break and shatter the bank for Mason Rudolph? Absolutely no, they're not. A guy that was a third-string quarterback that had no offers last season isn't going to go from no offers to $20 million a year, some crazy figure like that. Look for Mason Rudolph to be around the $5 to $7 million mark per season. I look for, this is my guess, a $14 million deal over 2 years for Mason Rudolph. And what does this allow him to do? It allows the Steelers and Mason Rudolph to be able to rip that contract up in year 2. Give Mason a monster hike in pay if need be, if he performs that way. And make it to where the Steelers and Mason secure knowing that they got a guy at that position. If Mason is able to go in there and compete and win that starting job and have a successful season in 2024, then the Pittsburgh Steelers will have that option to increase his pay. So if you're Mason Rudolph, you're going to bank on a lot of variables. You're going to bank on Kenny Pickett's injury history. You're going to bank on how you played in the final 4 games of the 2023 regular season. You are going to bank on the fact that you have a history with the team that you are going to. You are going to bank with the fact that Omar Khan gives you a ringing endorsement from the general manager's seat. You're going to bank on those things. And if you're Mason Rudolph and you're looking for your best possible opportunity, if the Steelers come in around that dollar figure, I think no matter what anybody else kind of offers you, that would probably be your best bet. Now there may be a team that comes in and they just go out and dump monster dollars on Mason Rudolph because they like what they saw in those final 4 games. That may be the case. And I don't think your Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get into a bidding war with anybody over Mason Rudolph. I don't. But I think that they could maybe get up to about $10 million a season. I think that they would still feel comfortable with that, which was what they were paying Mitchell Trubisky. But I think they're going to come in around that mid, $5 to $7 million mark per season to try to get him on a little bit cheaper money. But hey, Mason may counter. His representation may say you paid Mitchell Trubisky, who never was a winner in Pittsburgh. You paid him $10 million a year coming off a backup role. Why wouldn't you pay me $10 million a year when I prove to you that I can win ball games late in the season and I can stand in that pocket and deliver the football and I have the support of the offensive players? Why not pay me that? I could see that happening, and I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers saying, you know what, Mason, you're right. We'll match that. And I think that just with the history of Mason Rudolph with the Steelers, that would just kind of sway him. He's probably comfortable here, guys. He's probably, yeah, I know the argument, and I know I'm going to get it in the comments. Mason Rudolph was never given a fair shake, and I totally agree with you. He was never given the full opportunity to succeed in the city of Pittsburgh. There was an aging Ben Roethlisberger who probably stayed 2 years past his time. Then you had the Steelers bring in Mitchell Trubisky. Then you had them draft a guy with number 20 overall pick in Kenny Pickett in 2022. And Mason continued to get buried farther and farther and farther down the depth chart. And then he tried to go and test the free agency market and didn't get any offers. And I get that, guys. You're going to say they've never given him a real chance. Why would he trust them? Why would he come back? And I just want to say I bank that solely on the ability for Mason to be comfortable. He is familiar. I said it yesterday on the podcast. He is familiar with Pittsburgh. He is familiar with the players. He is familiar with the system and the way the Steelers do things. It is the only way he knows how to do things. And maybe, yes, Mason does want a fresh start. But if you're Mason Rudolph, you got to look at who's ahead of you. You got to look at what the opportunity is. And it can't be all about the money here, because this time, this chance for Mason Rudolph now that he gave himself, that he rewarded himself with, this opportunity to go and really have a chance to get a shot now and a chance to make a couple bucks. A chance to not be getting paid, that league minimum type money, whatever. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you saw something in Mason Rudolph, and Mason played his way into deserving this chance. And if you're Mason, you're not just going to go all out on the money. Why? Because you got to look at how this opportunity could breed into something else. You got to look at it big picture here. This is the chance in Mason Rudolph's career that he can look at the broader picture, that he can think outside of the box a little bit and say to myself, or say to himself, damn it, Mason, I take $2 million less and I come back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not going to be maybe guaranteed the starting job, but Kenny Pickett is injured an awful lot. Kenny Pickett has been an underperforming rookie and an underperforming second-year player. Kenny Pickett's statistics are absolutely horrible. I got a ringing endorsement for Omar Khan. Maybe I go out here and might make my $7 million, my $5 million a year, and I come back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. At some point in the season, I'm going to get my chance. I have the support of the players in the locker room. I'm going to get a shot. Kenny will probably be injured at some point, or he will probably play poorly at some point. And the Pittsburgh Steelers hopefully won't drag their feet like they did with Mitchell Trubisky before they inserted Mason into the lineup. Hopefully the Steelers have learned their lesson and Mason will get a chance, another chance to shine. And if he could do that 2 seasons in a row, play quality football, play like a real NFL starting caliber quarterback, you're going to see Mason Rudolph's stock rise. And maybe if you're Mason and you do take a 2-year deal, say that you do. Maybe you make that second year a voidable year, a year to where Mason could request to get out from underneath it. Maybe they could put those types of things inside of that contract to where Mason would have the ability to explore, the free agency market or be released if he meets certain goals. Maybe that is the case. Maybe that's something they can do. I'm not sure. But I'm just trying to look here at the positives and the reasons why Mason would come back. And I can see the reasons that he wouldn't. He didn't get a fair shake. He hasn't gotten the opportunities he's deserved. And everybody's worrying about Mason Rudolph just being a backup quarterback. Guys, he was the leader statistically out of all 32 quarterbacks in the entire NFL. Starting at that time, statistically, the best out of all of them in the final 4 games that he played. The final 4 weeks of the Pittsburgh Steelers season, Mason Rudolph was top of the list in the NFL. Not just a top 5, tops. That has to count for something. That has to give you an opportunity and at least a chance to compete for the starting job in the city of Pittsburgh. Mason Rudolph has waited long enough. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have shown a great deal of interest. They've announced it publicly. They are on record of saying how much they would enjoy getting the services of Mason Rudolph in the 2024 season. And if you're Kenny Pickett, you're going to be looking over your shoulder, and you're going to have to realize that you have to be tough enough to withstand this, or you answer the question for everybody that you aren't the guy. If you aren't able to take this adversity and carry it on your shoulders and perform to the level that you're supposed to as an NFL quarterback, you answer the question for everyone. All right, guys, that's just it for today. I just wanted to bring that up. After yesterday, we could get rid of the Justin Fields rumors. He's going to Atlanta. We know that. Vegas has told us that, just with the Vegas thing. Plus, many other people around the league have said it too. The secret's out. The jig is up. I'm not sure what the compensation will be for the Chicago Bears, but Fields will be an Atlanta Falcon by the start, or at the start of free agency. We'll see. But it's coming soon. It ain't going to be long. That way the Bears can start to plan for their future. But the Pittsburgh Steelers gave us a lot of insight yesterday on what they're trying to do. And this quarterback situation has been the biggest topic of the offseason. And I think we have a lot of the answers that we needed, that we received yesterday from Omar Khan. And I think you can kind of see exactly the direction the Pittsburgh Steelers are headed for the 2024 season. All right, guys, don't forget our live show tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be joined by Sean here on Steel City Talk, only on Mic Drop Sports. Tune in, turn your notification bell on, and be with us tonight for what will be an amazing show. Another great time here on Mic Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live. And Sean and I will be here for all your comments, questions, and concerns. And we'll have a great time, as always. So, until next time, this is Mic Drop Sports. I'm Jason. Peace.